Hi, I'm McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, my ex didn't love me as much as I loved them. Very, very, very common theme. Actually comes up a lot. And the first question you got to ask yourself is, what is love? But more importantly, like, what is love to you? So you can go in Webster's dictionary probably and look up love, and it'll probably give you a definition. But I think everyone can agree that when someone says, I love you, or I love this, love is one of those words. It's used so much. Like, if you think about it, there's certain words in English that mean a lot of different things. Love might be one of them. Don't you think, B?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? The F word's one of those.
Yeah.
Right? That it's, you don't realize it. It's a form of slang. But the F word means a lot of different things. It means great. It means bad. So many different things. I think love's up there too. Mm-hmm. And so you get to your definition. I don't even know if I have a defined definition for love myself. I would say that it's probably defined in the situation by the individual. And some people, the ironic thing is some people will sit down and go, well, this is what love is. As if, you know, I'm going to tell you what it is. Here, you want to know what love is? Okay, this is what it is.
Tell me.
Yeah. Well, according to your life, according to your experiences, I mean, could be, right? Words are really interesting because the definitions behind them are actually defined by the individuals that use them. Someone else, you know, that's not what that means. Well, it means that to them. So your definition of love is your definition. And when you're in a relationship, it's ironic because you're like, oh, this person doesn't even love me. That might be the way they love people. Unconditional love, that's real popular, which I've heard from other people, that's not true, that there's no such thing as unconditional love. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's true or not true?
I don't know. Maybe it is true. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that, to be honest with you.
I believe in
you would do anything.
I believe in unconditional love. I think that it's one of those things primarily bestowed upon family members.
Family, for sure.
I think with relationships, it's more difficult because the expectations are different. Mm-hmm. And there's more. Let's put it this way. So if you have unconditional love for your mother, there's a long track there. It's your whole life. Right? Even if you're with someone for 5 years, it doesn't compare to someone being with you since you were a little kid. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot of people that have unconditional love for their pets.
Yeah, probably. Right? Now, yeah.
Because they don't talk back and they never hurt me. They never did anything wrong to me, and they don't gossip. Mm-hmm. They don't talk behind my back. That's for damn sure. They don't. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to that. But one of the things that I read years ago was that I think is really true, and some people probably wouldn't want to admit that, is you love parts of people. Mm. You love aspects of their personality. Now, when you get to the point of like being with someone for 20 years, 25 years, it's probably like, all right, I got to take it all in. Mm-hmm. So that's probably when it gets to that. Another thing that people strive for in the love game is be more like me.
Like the way I love, or the way I think about love?
Yeah. Be like, this is how love's supposed to be.
Right. So you gotta
like, for one, and we're going to talk about it in it's not really a story, but someone had sent in a short excerpt of their breakup. They didn't give a whole lot of details, but they're defining a big part of love as being affectionate, public affection. Mm-hmm. I've heard this many times. It's like, well, if that person's not affectionate, they can't love. It's kind of an interesting thing, right?
Right.
I mean, affection isn't tied to how much someone loves unless the individual decides that. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, why love someone so much? I think that goes back to the history that they've been there. That's why when someone says love at first sight, that's kind of an interesting thing. I've believed in attraction at first sight. You got me there. I was attracted to her. It's like, no, I loved her. It's like, you sure it wasn't attraction? Have you had love at first sight?
No.
Not even close.
Maybe like what I thought was love, like, you know. Like when I was younger or something, like, oh man.
But now looking back, it's probably attraction.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you think about it like that, like when people love their pets, they wouldn't go, oh, when I first saw this dog, I just knew that I love them.
Yeah.
So always remember this about when you get caught up in this, they don't love me as much as I love them. What's your definition of love? How are you defining that? And I'd add this, it's possible, but most relationships aren't 100% equal. And the defining aspects of love are probably different for both of you. That's probably a given. So what are you even ranging that from? Well, the title is accurate. And the love meter can change on both sides if you're in a relationship.
It fluctuates a bit.
On both sides.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've talked to guys, and I've been in my own relationships where maybe it feels like the woman's, I won't even use the word love, because it's a loaded question or a loaded statement sometimes. Because like I said, when you really get down to it, it's defined by the individual, not by what you think love is. But if you feel that way, where you're like, they didn't love me as much as I love them, it's probably a lot more detailed than that. That's why when I go into a coaching session, if someone said, I'm like, well, give me some examples. And then when you get to the examples, it kind of makes it a smaller problem. And then you can actually deal with it and figure out what's wrong. But using the word love just makes it way more heavy and things like that. So I'm going to get into a quick couple stories here. Hello, Coach Mac. My ex-boyfriend broke up with me yesterday. Sorry for that fresh wound. I don't know what to do. He said he's tired of me always complaining about him not being available. Okay, so right there is a definitive issue, definitive problem. You can agree with that or not agree with it. You can feel like it's BS, but he's telling you a reason. Sometimes people, I don't know why. It's like, what did they tell you? And then when we talk about it, I'm like, well, that first sentence that you just told me where you say he's tired of you complaining about him not being available, I think it's that.
Might be that.
Right? But they'll glaze over and they'll go, it's got to be something deeper. I do always feel like I love him more than he loves me. And I do tell him that, as I don't like to hold feelings in. I feel like it was true and that he should know that. All right, it's true for you. This is one of those things where you feel like getting your feelings out. I would agree. This is how I feel. I want to make it evident. Okay. Sometimes a statement like that, it's so broad. Get more specific. Like, in what ways do you love him more? Right? Like, how is that showing up for you? He said he just doesn't feel the need to say it all. I'm sorry. Feel like it's true to me and he should know that. I feel like it was true and that he should know that. He said he just doesn't feel the need to say it all the time. I say, then just show me with an extra hug and kiss, but he doesn't like public affection and actually doesn't like to be very affectionate unless it's full on bedroom activities. Then he's all over me. All right. We'll get to the bottom of why he doesn't. For you to seek to understand, not to be understood. So you might have been with an affectionate partner in the past that's public, or you've seen your parents that way, or your mom was one of those that hugged and kissed you a lot, and you just think that that's part of love, but he was probably raised a different way and something maybe happened to him when he was young. My friend who's been in therapy for years claims he was probably abused as a child. Well, that's a big assumption to make.
That's a pretty heavy term to use too. I mean,
it's one of those things that this is why this is really short on the information. I don't know how long you guys have been together, so how much he's divulged. Usually if you've been together a year or 2 years, loving partners would probably, but maybe not give the details, but maybe allude to that. I actually asked him the day we broke up, and he didn't answer that part of my text. So for you to bring up were you abused as a child when you break up is not a good time.
Straight after? No.
Because it's saying, oh, because you broke up with me, I got to find something defected about you. It's not me. It's you. And we'll just throw, maybe you were abused as a child. How does that come out? He didn't answer that part of the text. I asked him again recently, and he said, we are broken up. So stop asking petty questions. So you're kind of reaffirming your complaint. He said, you're always complaining and of him not being available. And now he's saying you're being petty with question. She writes, I think he's avoiding it, but I believe if he seeks therapy for this type of abuse, maybe it could help us. So this is a great situation where you've been broken up with. He's complained that you complain about him too much, and he's tired of it. Okay. Now, you've gone down this rabbit hole where you said he doesn't love you as much as you love him. So that's why you're complaining, and that you don't need him to say it, but you need him to hug and kiss you in public more often. And now that he doesn't do that, a friend of you that's been in therapy, let me just go through this, has planted the seed that maybe he's been abused, whatever that means, because that can mean a lot of different things. As a child, you're grasping for straws. It's a possibility. Post breakup, you don't throw that out there. Sorry, if it's true, he's probably not going to go there if he hasn't gone there already with you. Okay. Now you're looking for a way. You're defected. You're messed up. Let's find that, because it's not me. Maybe you're just not a good match. Maybe you want to find, there's plenty of guys out there that are, way into, I have friends that are, sometimes it's like, God, you guys are annoying to be around.
Way into the PDA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man. And it's, there's some people people don't do PDA. I never liked using that term. PDA is public affection, right?
Yeah. Public display of affection.
Yeah. It's used all the time because I'm always like PDA, the PTA.
The PTA meetings. Yeah.
So that comes up a lot, though. This is a classic example of be more like me. This is how I love. This is what I want. This is what I do. This is love. No, it's you. Right? He could just, an alternative, he could say, get a teddy bear, bring it with us when we go out to eat at Denny's. We don't have to share the booth. I remember I had an ex-girlfriend. I've never been one with big for PDA. My parents never were. My mom wasn't a big hugger. So it's just foreign to me. Are you a big PDA guy?
Not really. I'm not super uncomfortable.
Holding hands? Holding hands at the mall?
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Will you hold hands at the mall?
Sure.
Holding hands was a big one for me. I never liked that.
Really? Yeah.
Never.
Just let's just do our own thing.
Yeah, I'll lose them at the mall. Yeah. She's like, where are you? On the phone? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't want to wait any longer.
Right.
And it's not personal. My parents were like that. They'll split up at a Costco or one of those places, meet back. No big deal. I've had a girlfriend like that we were both like that. And I had another girl, why are you walking so fast?
We need to look at everything
Why are you
together?
walking so fast? I'm like, it's not personal. You just walk slow. And it's true. It's doesn't have anything to do with loving you less or
just you're a slow walker.
We need to know more of the story. It could be she was too needy. Regardless of the attachment, it can be draining. Yeah, she's probably not disclosing her entire communication strategy here as to how she's played it out. Sure, it could be a lot of things. I would just start with, whenever you get into this, my ex didn't love me as much as I love them, get specific. What does that mean? Give me some examples. And then once you get to examples and you get outside of the generalizations, you can get to the problems. Maybe PDA for some is such a deal breaker, not enough or too much. I mean, it comes from someplace, right? Like I said, whoever were your examples of relationships. And then there's people that have been abused, right? And that's an obvious thing. Right. So, but you're not going to pry that out of them. This is a perfect example post breakup where you're like, you have problems. That's not going to get them back. Right. That's not going to work.
No.
What's up, Rye Flint?
What's up, Rye? What's up?
So we got one more story that's a little bit of a different direction here than just who loves who more. But I can't tell you how many times this comes up though.
Right. That's just how they feel.
And not just for women, but for men. I feel like I'm I'm treating you better. Like I'm keeping score. Hey, coach, my ex hates me. They told me to never call them again and that they won't be making it to my funeral whenever that happens. That's a little harsh.
Wow. Okay.
She's pissed because she caught me cheating a second time, and I don't think she got over the first time, really, which was over a year ago. Okay, the most recent time, did you get over it? The most recent time I got caught with my ex, who I've always had good chemistry with, obviously. She called me on what was a desperate night for her, as she had just broke up with her girlfriend. Yes, she's bisexual. B just had a crooked eyebrow smirk, kind of like
the layers. I mean, it just keeps going. All right.
And primarily dates women. But over the last few years, she has this pattern of always calling me when she has problems in her love life. I'm happy to talk to her, and my current girlfriend, now ex, knows her and has always said she still had eyes for me. And now she keeps throwing it in my face over and over again. I mean, bottom line is, whenever you stay in contact with your ex, I think that you really have to be defined in what that means to you. Now, if they're contacting you post breakup for advice, where does that lead to? Right? I mean, I'm a breakup coach and I don't even see that happening for myself. I mean, it puts you in a bad situation, right? Because they're available, they're vulnerable. I think that it's easier for someone post breakup to go through their Rolodex about people they used to hook up with or they have a relationship with to get your lap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than someone new that might reject them. So this is not uncommon. The fact that this is not the first time you cheated means that you probably, dare I say, have a problem or just not committed to the relationship. I told her I was sorry that now she keeps throwing it in my face over. I told her I was sorry and that it was a mistake, but the unfortunate part is I made the mistake of making a video, and it was another.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't make videos, okay? I've been coming across this more and more, not the videos, but the idea, there was a video made. It's like making a video, and it was a short one. I won't go into detail. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
But the video wasn't a good one for your girlfriend to see. Now it's been 2 weeks. She hasn't blocked me. The video, I mean, I don't say this often, but it's pretty much curtains if there's a video or there's text messaging. Videos, especially if you're doing ill acts, we'll just say that, or things that aren't good on video, that you're cheating on video. Talk about a hard way to get over it. So yeah, I don't think you're going to get around this. That being said, there's always a possibility. It depends on the individuals. Now it's been 2 weeks. She hasn't blocked me, but she has said we are done and that she'll never speak to me again. I always believe that there is a way to get whatever you want. It doesn't work as good with humans. It works good with inanimate objects, like TVs or cars. Then you can do all kinds of things to get it, right? This is where manifestation, I believe in manifesting things and things like that. But when it's human beings that have their own free will, it can be a little bit different. So I'm just looking for a strategy to get her back right now. Any take on that? Don't cheat again and don't make videos again while you're doing it. Don't bring up that you're sorry again. I would say that if you've already said sorry, she already knows that. If she has the video that she maybe downloaded, if she keeps throwing it in your face, you're going to need time for her to cool off. Probably going to no contact would be your best strategy. Letting her know before the no contact, which you already have, like, hey, I'm sorry. I apologize. I really messed up. I've got a problem. This is the second time. Be accountable. It's the second time. You're right about the fact that, and this is where you go with it rather than against it. The reality is she is right. She did smell something between the two of you, and that's why she keeps throwing in her face. And you could say, look, you were right. I shouldn't have stayed in contact with her because the worst case scenario happened. And I wouldn't say this one's as much of a mistake as you're putting yourself in a bad situation. But in no ways, if you're looking for a strategy, it's not going to come anytime soon. Like, you're not going to be able to do tic-tac-toe in their back, especially for something like this. So fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. But if she's, and this is what I've come across more and more, attraction's very important in breakups. Like, people being still attracted to each other. If I was doing a live coaching with you, I really don't like the way this one sounds, because it sounds like you're not really that sorry. You're just like, hey, dude, just tell me what to do so I can get back in the relationship. When reality is you really hurt her. And you're probably going to have to eat it for a little bit. That being said, do you feel like you're going to cheat again? Is this something where you're like, people always cheat, I just got caught? What's your real outlook? Those are questions you need to ask, because she's not going to ask you those questions. But even if you do get her back and you have a smooth line, or your strategy works, won't you break up again? If that's her line in the sand. It's like they always say that, women shit test you. Men shit test women too, for sure. One of the big ones guys do is like, let me, like, post breakup, let me see if I can have my cake and eat it too. I was just talking to a client today, and that was what came up. And I was like, if you allow that, most guys are like, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. You like that one, huh?
Okay.
They'll be like, so I'm like, if you don't want that, then you got to be up for it right from the get-go.
Yep.
The funeral line is usually a final statement for most. LOL.
Yeah.
Brian Union, what's up, buddy? Self-sabotage, maybe got lots of work to do. All right, Brian Union, I think you had sent me an email that you got a fresh one. If you want to come on the live stream, you don't have to show your face, but if you wanted to unpack what's going on, I'll talk to you.
We'll break it down.
Yeah, if anyone wants to come on right now, I'm open to it. I'll put the invite here. We're just playing with this really quick. So that's easily how you can come on that. That was interesting talking about love today. I just grabbed this Aubrey Marcus. Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
He's one of those guys that has a pretty big podcast, a wide variety of things. But I remember hearing this a while ago, where he talks about love like in a really passionate way. And it just goes to show you how different it is for different people. I'm going to show that really quick. And like I said, anyone in the chat that wants to come on live today and discuss their situation, if they're in a breakup or they're in a bad relationship thing, or they want to talk about love. Hold on a sec. All right. I'm going to pull this one up. Yep, let's talk about this.
It's the force of creation. It's like the sun. It warms all things. It casts no judgments. It's the purest. Because love is it's the force of creation. It's like the sun. It warms all things. It casts no judgments. It's the purest, happiest, lightest state of being that one can feel and express, right? And so it cannot inherently be painful. Something else must be riding along, along with it, attached to that concept, attached to that symbol, that sometimes coincides, that people have adopted as that thing, love. And I think a lot of that is, ego, insecurity, attachment, living worried about losing that love in the future. Or worried about something that happened in the past, or worried about all of these other things. But that's not it. Love in its purest form is always in the present moment. It's an expression. It's a transfer of energy. It's an emotion that comes in the present. And all of these other things are just little parasites that ride on that people call the same thing. So I think taking, separating the two, that which hurts is not love. And then what is love? And it's like rescuing it from all of these delusions that people have about it. Losing love hurts. But then again, like if you belabor that and you're thinking then, and that's just that rear view mirror thinking, like, oh, I once had this and my preference is that I would still have that, rather than just being in the present.
All right, one moment, Brian. I was just going to make a comment about the video that I just showed here. I was just giving you an example of how dramatic someone can betray it, how heavy it can be. Mm-hmm. And so passionate about like love cannot be painful. It's like, okay, are you speaking from the clouds? Like it can mean whatever it wants to whoever it wants to be, man. Mm-hmm. It's so heavy right there. All right, let me see if I can. I'm going to add you to the stream. Cool. And we'll take this down. Cool. Can you hear me all right, Brian?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Sounds good, man.
What's up, Brian?
Nothing much.
Just, where are you at, Brian?
I'm in Kansas City.
Oh, all right. Kansas City, man.
Yeah.
I've known a few people that have lived there over the years, and they say Kansas City has some of the best barbecue. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say we're up there. I haven't really had too many other places to compare, so I mean,
I just knew some people from California that they were like they had lived at quite a few different places, and multiple people that I've known that have gone to Kansas City always mention that.
Oh yeah,
that's one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty known for our barbecue, but like I said, I haven't been to many other places to compare. So,
is that where you're originally from? Is Kansas City?
Yep, born and raised.
Cool, man. You're a Royals fan?
Yep, Royals, Chiefs fan.
Got it. Yeah, got it.
Well, that's fortunate. Chiefs are a hell of a franchise, man.
Yeah,
I mean, and they finally started winning the last 5-7 years, right? Like they always won, but they didn't make.
They wouldn't get out the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. They were. You guys have a great fans, though, man.
Oh yeah.
Arrowhead,
definitely dedicated.
And you took out my Niners one year, so that was about in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was wild.
I was watching that game here in Thailand with a mixed bag of Americans over here, and it was like I think we were up 10 in the fourth quarter, and this other guy who didn't care, like he wasn't going for the Niners. I'm a Niners fan, grew up in the Bay Area. I'm a huge Niners fan. He's like, I think the Chiefs are going to take it, and I was like, what? Like I'm sitting there, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
right. He's just having a beer, and I'm like, where did that come from? He's like, I just think the Chiefs are going to take it, and the Niners are up 10, and I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, why do you say that? Like, oh, he went off. But I was thinking to myself, like, why'd he say that, right? Mm-hmm. And then, go ahead and sign back on. I don't know what happened there, Brian. Hope that doesn't happen too many times. But anyways, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what I hit. Sorry.
It's all right. We're good. So I was like, he goes, yeah, I think they're going to win. And I'm like, well, let's bet then. And I'm not a gambler. I'm not a bettor by nature, right? And he's like, well, you're going to have to give me points because you're up 10. I'm like, well, you had a strong opinion about it. No. I was just so locked in on the Niners, like I was so pissed off. And then the fucking Chiefs went and won in the fourth quarter. I wasn't surprised, man. It was just crazy. You know what I mean? He just mentioned, I was like, oh, man, Super Bowls, it's harder to lose them than it is to win them.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what's going on, man? I know that you told me in an email that you just had a recent breakup. Is that correct?
Yeah. 2-year relationship. We actually broke up a couple times. Mm-hmm. It's one of those off and on deals. We broke up in January. Yeah, January this year. Kept in contact with each other. We at the time we just kept contact with each other and through text messages and things like that. And we had made promises to make things better and make things work. We end up eventually reconcile, and February.
Mm-hmm.
Had a nice Valentine's Day. The goal was to try to see how things go kind of slowly, and then try couples therapy to like kind of tie up some loose ends. I agreed to it at first, and then I don't know. I felt like we didn't need it. Like we had a good Valentine's Day, and by the end of March, old habits started to form back again.
All right. So was the couples therapy her idea then? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, it was her idea. Well, I agreed to it. I was pretty much trying anything to finalize getting us reconciled back together.
Well, did the best you could, and A for effort, that counts. But let me ask you this, like, because I don't have your story and everything in front of me, which is what I usually do. But let's do this. What were the main problems?
A bit of jealousy on my end.
Okay.
Communication wasn't really there, and like all the issues that we had, I wouldn't say we were long distance, but we were far enough away where we really only saw each other on the weekends. So any problems that we had during the week, like we would do, text each other, pretty much have arguments through text messaging. And by the time we seen each other, everything was swept under the rug.
So give me an example of a common argument. Was it about jealousy, about money, about what?
When we had first got back together in January and in February, she had already had the plans to go out of town and see her best friend, which used to live here, a female.
Okay.
She went there, and we didn't see each other prior to her leaving, so I kind of felt like some kind of way about it. Don't know why. It's almost like I just didn't want her to go there without seeing. It was crazy. Like I can't really explain the reason why I do some of the things that I do, but or how I react to things. And
you felt, all right, let me just interject for a minute because I'm listening.
Yeah.
So in that particular situation, she's going to see a good friend that's a female.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not suspicious or upset, but you were hoping that she saw you first.
Yeah.
All right, that's a common theme. So you wanted to be put first, and that was your weekend that you usually hang out.
Yeah. I think she left on a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. See, I work nights, so my time is really limited. If she couldn't make it to me, then it's just a boat that I missed. But so she's with the best friend, and she's having a good time, and I'm for whatever reason I'm jealous of the situation. And she goes to get a matching tattoo with her best friend. We had discussed getting matching tattoos prior to us getting back together.
Okay.
In January. So I kind of felt like she went and shared her experience with her best friend instead of me, which I don't understand why. I mean, I understand how it made me feel, but I don't understand why it made me feel in regards to she doing that with her best friend.
And that was this January? So this is
yeah, she went in vacation in the end of March. This is like fresh of us reconciling.
So when you say you reconcile, what did you reconcile about?
Well, we just moved forward with the relationship and got back together.
So I mean, did you break up over this situation about the tattoo and stuff?
No. This was one of the first issues that started to reoccur.
And looking back, you're looking back and you're thinking you overreacted.
Yeah.
Hindsight's always 20/20. Connect the dots. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Did you?
And then
because before you used to come on my channel, you had a breakup before this, right? Like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. About 3 years ago now. Yeah, it was a 5-year relationship. Yeah.
That one was bad.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, I remember. Were you jealous in that one?
I was more so insecure in that one. Like I was cheating involved, things of that nature.
She cheated on you.
Yeah.
And you didn't cheat on her?
No.
Okay. That's your first serious relationship, or that was?
Yeah. That was I say my longest relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, you know
And
what I
this,
mean. But I'm not saying your first relationship, but like where you 5
Five,
years is a
5
run, man.
years.
That's
5
an
Yeah.
years.
achievement in 21st century, dude.
Mhm.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like people are like the way
Serious,
things are
yeah.
now.
Mhm.
It's like 5 years is serious, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's like you stick together through that. You can have some wounds from that. So do you feel like you picked up a little extra jealousy or suspicion because of that 5 year going into this new one?
Yeah. I had a little 4-month relationship with a
Okay, cool.
girl that was it moves extremely fast. I'd say within a month we was doing vacations, like family vacations. Um, we broke up, and she had already had a guy um, that she was dating like immediately after.
The 4 month one.
Yeah, and
All
I
right. Well, I
took
mean,
that one pretty. I took that one pretty hard, but I was able to get over it because of the length.
Yeah.
What happened in that one? Why did you break up?
You know, I don't really know. I think it was more along the same things, like just the way that we communicated and things like that. And she had children. She felt like, she told me that she didn't think that I was able to be with someone with children, even though
Did you
there
feel
was
like that was true?
I felt maybe that I didn't know how to do some of the things because I don't have children of my own, but they was old enough to where they didn't really need the, the attention. You know what I mean? Like they was
I know what you're
teenagers.
saying. Yeah, like you didn't. They weren't toddlers.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay. And if you don't have kids before and you don't work in a field with kids,
yeah.
then you don't know what you don't know. So
Sure.
that's understandable. So that was quick in and out. So going back to this most recent one, how long ago did you break up?
We broke up in the end of September.
So do you
Yeah.
want to get back together?
Did I or did
Do you?
I did at first. I mean, I still do, but my feelings are kind of changing the longer it has been going on, because I feel like I don't feel like anything would really. I don't know. It's tough situation because I feel like the things that we argued about could be fixed, but I feel like she will always have a reason to leave. Like I feel like I would be like on eggshells, and she would just break up with me again, and then that'd be it.
And were her primary? So she did break up with you, and her primary reason is your jealousy.
Yeah, she's told me lack of communication. I had a negative attitude most of the time.
Do you feel like you're a negative attitude? Do you feel that's true?
In a way, sometimes I know some of the decisions that she wanted to make, like as far as like getting a pet or something like that, I would be like, that's a bad idea, or I will tell her that she's gonna regret it, and she usually did. But I guess she just wanted my support on the situation to let her go through with it before. Like she had got a pit bull one time, and I was like, you can't handle that dog on your own, man.
That's a
and
big
sure
decision.
enough, it didn't work out. She ended up going back to the shelter. So
yeah, but you were right.
You were right.
Yeah,
you're right.
My parents actually have 3 pit bulls. My niece dropped them off at her house. At their
All
house.
3?
Yeah, there's 3 in the house, man.
get some better light in here. There we go.
So where are you at with it right now? What do you think where do you want to go right now, present moment? Like, what are you looking for? You want to reconnect with her?
During the breakup, she had me blocked, like by phone and then by Facebook Messenger, but I could still see her page. And then by my birthday, I had reached out to her best friend and then I deleted the message. I sent her the message, but I deleted it, but she caught the unsent message. So my ex immediately messaged me and just was like, what's up? Happy birthday. And then we began talking, and she was like, she's tired of the makeup and breakup. This is it this time. We just don't fit. We're not compatible, et cetera, et cetera. And, I just kept talking to her, just trying to figure out what was going on and, things that happened and led up to the breakup. It got to a point where we was talking so much, she kind of softened her tune a little bit and was like, maybe we can be, friends and keep communication open, and hopefully we can work on ourselves and possibly reconnect in the future. But I just felt like she was just saying that to kind of like let me down gently, because it had already seemed like she had made up her mind, but I just kept pressing the issue.
So you feel like your insecurity issues are more of the problem than anything she did? Or do you think so for example, because you say communication, that's a broad term.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try to get a little bit more specific on some of these things. But for example, if someone has insecurity issues, sometimes the insecurity issues are like she flirts a lot, she works at a provocative place. I mean, were they warranted, the insecurities, or you looking back, which now you have time to, you look back and you're like, I'm overreacting?
I would probably say that I was overreacting.
All right.
Most of the time.
Like the friend was a good example. She saw this friend, they hung out, there was nothing done. And so were you kind of taking the passive aggressive approach where you just make a little slight comment, or were you openly like, I don't want you going with your friend again? How aggressive?
No, I was just, it's more passive aggressive. It was just like making her feel that, I had an issue with everything that she did. And then she just was like, and she even told me that her friend was like, I don't even know if I want to call you when you're around him, because I don't want to cause any issues between you two. Like, this is stuff that my ex-girlfriend was telling me. And, I just felt bad about the situation after fact. Like, after we had our little final closure talk, after she came and got her stuff, she just kind of laid it out all on the line. It was some other situation with her niece coming into town in May from Tennessee, and she ended up staying here with her dad, but she was always over my ex's place. And I was just like, what's going on? As far as I thought at one point I thought she was about to move in, and we kind of got into
move in with you, or move in with the niece?
Move in with the niece was seemingly like she was about to move in with my girlfriend, because
which you guys didn't live together. You lived a little bit of distance.
But we had discussed getting a place together.
Okay.
We was actually looking for places together, because like I said, distance wasn't a thing, but we really only had the weekends together. With me working nights and her working days, it was no way during the week.
Do you think anything was from the that 5-year relationship that you had, being that it was a different relationship with a different woman? It sounds like maybe you're insecure. Sometimes when you're in a relationship, even when there's a game being played, or a pattern, or a playbook, I call it, where you might have made those comments or been jealous with that 5-year relationship, but it doesn't result in the same way it does in this new relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Definitely some things. I think when the fact that we work different schedules kind of made me a little insecure, because obviously I'm working at night, and she's, it's no way I can, I can't talk to her. She's sleeping or whatever. So yeah, some issues, some insecurities on that end probably. But I never really felt like she was untrustworthy, but
so it's more on your end now, looking back, that if you could, and probably that's born from the fact that you were with someone that you had a reason to be insecure with.
Correct. Yeah.
The 5-year relationship was much more
Yeah.
like that was a situation where your suspicions were correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, give yourself a fucking break, man. Like, this is your first good relationship afterwards, and you actually this is what happens. It's a new relationship with a new person, but sometimes you're like, you develop some new things where you're like, who are you with? But you also, the fact that the 5-year relationship, you lived together, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep. You remember? Yeah.
Yeah. There was a little bit of abuse, right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's totally different, man. Totally different situation.
Totally different relationship. I felt like we did a lot more. We did a lot more traveling, a lot more first memories, things like that. But it's just the whole communication and everything. It was just
That 5-year relationship you're talking about.
Oh no, the current relationship.
The current one. So the current one was an improved one.
Yeah, it's definitely improved. Like overall, like
because the other one, I don't remember all the specifics because it was years ago, but it was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
There was a lot of drama in that one.
Yeah.
There was a lot of twists and turns. And so the best thing you can do post breakup out of one of those bad ones is at least improve who you hook up with afterwards. And a lot of times, like that 4-month one that you told me that was in between.
Yeah.
Those are really hard.
Yeah.
Because you just got out of like a really dramatic, fucked up relationship, and you get into a 4-month and you're like, damn, this is great. There's great sex. There's great this. And then it ends. You're like, what did I miss? You just were in a long relationship that you stayed in that was not good. So if you're in a good one, you're like, we should be riding this out.
Mm-hmm. So
when one problem came up and you guys broke up right away, sometimes those are harder breakups because the person's like, this is so much better. What did like I said. So then you go into the next one and it sounds like it's pretty good, but even though you said like you made it work on the weekends, it is extra strain.
Yeah.
To just see each other on the weekends. It counts. And you did that for 2 years?
Yep.
Well, that's pretty good then.
Well, and in the beginning, she worked from home. So it was easier to get a little bit more time with each other during the weekend. We would hit the gym and do things like that together. But once she started going back, and once her schedule changed, and then she got a new job and start getting off at 5 p.m., and I would have to be at work at like 7:30.
All right. That's a turning point. What stage did she get the new job?
She got the new job this past August. But at her previous job, her hours had changed, and she was starting to work later. So it would take me 30 minutes to get to her house. And best case scenario, we have like 2 hours together before I had to go to work.
So the pressure was on, man.
Yeah.
It's good in the beginning, but so that's a circumstance, and her new job, that's a circumstance. But like the good thing is you filtered for someone better than your past relationship.
Yeah.
Like that 5 years. So I'm always encouraging people, like, what you learn from the past relationships, don't repeat it. And it sounds like you brought in a little bit of, like you said, a little bit of negativity, a little bit of maybe giving her a hard time when you didn't need to about, her being with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a big upgrade from what you told me in the other one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It sucks, man. It sucks because for one, I haven't talked to her in over a month, and then it's like
holidays are coming.
Yeah, holidays is coming, and man.
So the interesting thing is, though, that time that you put it out there, she called you, right?
What do you mean?
You said that like you tried to send a message, and then
I sent the message
got sent by accident, but then she called you,
and she messaged me back. We haven't spoken on the phone at all. Well, yeah, we haven't spoken on. She did come by. She it was her daughter's 5-year birthday. She just turned 5. Yeah. She did bring her daughter by and see me, which was another thing that kind of like confused me. It was like some mixed signal type deal there.
When was that?
That was on the 10th of October.
And she
So
said
we
it was for
were
her
like
daughter.
probably like two weeks in breakup, and she just was distant. She didn't want to like sit, like she sat next to me, but she was kind of like friendly, like I don't know, like, you know, don't be up on me, and then, you know, she was over here for a little while, and then she left, and she gave me a hug that was super friendly, and then I messaged her. I was like, you know, it was good to see you, and I was like, so what was that all about? And you know, she was just like, you know, she had a decent time with me or whatever, and her daughter wanted to see me, but she's not interested in fixing the relationship. I was just like,
Thanks.
yeah, it's like, what the hell did you come over for? Like,
Thanks.
Right.
The best thing you can say is, okay, that's fine. That's good to
yeah.
see you. But so you got them. So present day, you got a month of no contact is what I would say, or not talking.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I prefer that. I'm doing my best to help you tell the truth.
I do have a second Facebook page because I used to get banned on Facebook a lot, and I reached out to her probably right before Halloween. You know, just asked her, you know, could we talk? And
Sure.
And she said that she did not want to. She said she was trying to get back to normal as much as she can, and she wasn't interested in revisiting the beginning stages of the breakup. She said that I told her to block me, which I did. I told her to block me if we didn't have no more chance of being together, and she did. That's how the block happened. So she was like, you know, she agreed that was the best thing to do to move forward, and she really don't see anything else to talk about. And I told her, yeah, I said that, and I just didn't think that you would. And she was, and then she goes, you know, that's your problem. You didn't think I was going to leave the relationship. You didn't think I was going to stop talking to you. You didn't think.
Oh, she had you on the ground.
Yeah, pounding me on the ground. And
that's what I always say. Is like once a woman's got you down on the ground, sometimes they get some kicks in.
Like I thought a couple of weeks, you know, just
you're like, I was just checking in.
Yeah. And,
hello, how you doing, hon? Did you want to revisit things? I wasn't expecting to get, you know, just say you're not interested.
Yeah, so she was just like, she's not interested in revisiting emotions that she had. She already felt and let go. Her exact words.
So how did you end that interaction?
I just like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll leave you alone. And I think she blocked me on Messenger because I didn't get any other response off that.
Well, at this point now, you're all in on no contact because there's no alternative, and then you left it on a good note. You weren't crazy. You didn't demand answers. You didn't say something mean.
Nope.
You know, like there's a lot of different ways you could have went. You know, like a lot of times, oh, I broke. Like someone will say, like they watch my videos or someone else's videos, and they're like, I know I broke the no contact. I did this. It's like it's okay. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay. Like when you said, like I reached out, as long as you handled that interaction without being threatening or saying, I hate your family or this or that, you know, like, no, I've heard stuff. I'm like, you said that? Like you said that about their mom, or you said that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, you're kind of done now. You know, it's like, you left it on a note where it was like, kind of like, I miss you. I'm checking in. So she knows if she wants to bring her daughter around because the daughter misses you or something, that at least, even though she was a little tough with you, which just says that she's hurting too. Like when she said, well, you told me to block you, it's like she's hurting too. She misses you. So at least you left it on a note where you're not angry, you're not attacking her. And if she wants to contact you again during the holidays or something, like she knows that you're not upset with her.
Yeah.
Because sometimes at the very end, everyone does that. Just block me, just do this, because you're overcompensating to try to get that. Like if I say this, you'll maybe say, no, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, that's basically what I was looking for.
I know, because I've done it before in relationships.
Man, what the hell?
Like, don't ever talk to me again. And you're like, 2 weeks later, I didn't mean that shit.
Yeah.
I was hoping I was hoping that you'd be scared and you want to talk to me again. So
You
Yeah,
actually do.
that's exactly what I was, and she took it as if I wanted to move on, and I was like, no, that was not the reaction I really wanted.
yeah,
Right.
you were trying to win.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's what we do. Like when you're in an argument, you try to win and you take it to a next level instead of just neutralizing and backing off. That's okay. So right now you're in an okay position because the last interaction was good. You didn't get out of control. You weren't mean. You weren't upsetting. And so if she wants to contact you again, she will. And then in the meantime, you're realizing you needed space to realize that it sounds like you were being a little bit petty about the things that you were getting upset about, like the
yeah,
close friend and the tattoo thing.
yeah,
Yeah. And those frustrations could be just the fact that your schedules are different. Like that's an issue in relationships when your schedules are different. It
Yeah.
affects things. And then if you only get a weekend together and then you don't get your weekend,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, that
this
happened.
is our weekend.
Yeah, that happened quite often. Well, not quite often, but I felt like we both felt like we kind of like pushed our friends off to the side because we only had a day and a half really. I work overnight, so I am sleeping most of Saturday so before I even get to her.
Well, there you go. And if you're working that many hours and you're tired and stuff, you're going to be more irritable when you can't see your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if that went on for 2 years and you didn't have like a finish line where you're like, okay, we're going to get a place together. I'm going to go off and you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you need to quit your job, but something has to change in that scenario to improve. You know, moods can change when you're working hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's not personal sometimes. It's not personal.
Summertime,
So
I was working like 16 hours on Fridays.
Damn.
It was insane.
I hope you're getting overtime.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. My father was a truck driver. He's like, that's where we made all our money, man.
Yeah.
Is the overtime.
Yeah,
right?
It's like that's definitely is nice, but it didn't really help the relationship. I agree with you there.
Well, the good news is you were able to, because like I said, I remember your original one. You were able to pivot into 2 new relationships that were better than that first one. You're learning a few things of moving forward. This one sounds like it's possible to come back around. It's not necessarily saying that it is or it isn't, but it's not like torched.
Yeah. I don't know. She's real. I don't know. Yeah.
Is there something like about how old are you, Brian?
I just turned 36.
All right, man. You look young for your age.
Mm-hmm.
You had something over the time with because you've had a few relationships being 36. Mm-hmm. That's why I ask. You have some life experience. Have you had a reoccurring theme outside of being jealous? That have you been too nice, or have you seen something that you're like, this keeps happening to me in relationships?
Getting dumped. No.
Like you're the one that usually is on the other end.
Yeah.
Is it always for a different reason, or is it usually because?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
I know she felt like when we was together, like she felt a little smothered, maybe. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted all her time or all her communication when she had other things to do.
Have you gotten that feedback from other women you've been with?
Most of the feedback that I get from other, like the 4-month was just the way that I guess I talked. How I communicated, like my attitude, maybe my aggressiveness in my voice or anything like that.
She felt disrespected.
Can be mean sometimes, I guess. I don't know.
You felt like you were disrespectful.
Yeah, I never did the name call or anything like that, but Just, I guess, the aggressive nature of my voice, or having to be right, or something like that.
And you feel like that's true?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely felt like it was true in this situation.
So you have an anger issue, you think, sometimes?
Yeah,
Like you jump?
she
Okay.
said she said I she said that she sometimes didn't want to tell me certain things because I would get angry. But the thing is, we never really communicated in person, so it's more like text messaging. So it's like you can interpret text messages any type of way that
Yeah,
you want.
that's true. That's absolutely true. I
And
agree with that.
so I feel like that was another thing that really hurt our relationship. We never had too many sit down conversations like, hey, this is what's going on. And, how are we going to fix this? It's always back and forth text message, and then go to bed and wake up like nothing happened.
Was there a lot of arguing?
Yeah, but it wasn't like reoccurring. But when the arguments did happen, they lasted quite a while. But it was never like every week or anything like that. But yeah, I would say it got pretty intense at times. And
Something you're used to dealing with, right? Because of the other
yeah,
relationships.
yeah, I kind of felt like I just got like a little complacent. Like I really would try, but then I would just be like, I don't care, because I didn't feel like that she was going to go anywhere over something like that. I mean, it's like I wasn't cheating on her or doing anything like extreme. I felt like we can just get through this. But I learned that not all women's going to tolerate communication issues.
All right. So you've said communication issues more than once. What does that mean to you?
Um, I really don't know. Like,
Okay. I don't know
honestly,
is a good
I mean,
answer sometimes.
I hear it a lot from her on her end.
Oh, okay. So that's her rhetoric.
Yeah, she's telling me that I don't communicate effectively, and
Because when I hear communication issues, right? It's like a lot of communication is a miscommunication. Actually, more than we think. And like
yeah, that probably
people can
sounds,
avoid
yeah.
a lot of problems. I was just talking to B about this today because B was like, "I'm not coming today." And I said something to him, and I was like, we went back and forth about it on a quick text, and it's like, okay, we had a miscommunication. Like
Mhm.
when you agree that there was a miscommunication, it takes the weight out of like I'm angry at you. It's like I think you didn't understand what I meant by that, right? So a lot of times, even though we're both speaking English, because I live in a country where we have to deal with different languages, so there's always miscommunication.
Mhm.
But when you think about it, even at work and stuff, it's like someone will jump like, "Oh, that's what you meant." No, that's not what I meant. You misunderstood me. And so, do you think there was a lot of miscommunication because
Yeah, I
you
think
were
that's more. That
misinterpreting
sounds
things?
more. Yeah, I think that sounds more like what it was. More miscommunication.
Yeah, like when you have miscommunications, and then someone goes, "No, you meant it this way." It's like, no, I didn't mean it that way. And then when you're doing with text, because you got to get to the bottom of sometimes when someone wants to win or like be right,
Mm-hmm.
most things are opinions.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that like we can't argue over is let's get a calculator out. 2 + 2 is 4. Okay, fine. But the other things, it's like no one's really right. It's like
Yeah.
it's just opinion, opinion, opinion. So like as you kept saying, the communication issues. It sounds like when you guys didn't communicate well, it instead of talking about the actual problem of the communication, then it's like makes it bigger. Oh, you don't communicate well, but you're
Yeah.
also working nights and you only see each other on the weekend, so that doesn't help
Yeah.
because you don't get to make up.
Yeah.
It just simmers during the week, right?
Yep. Yep. And then by weekend, it's completely swept underneath the rug.
Is this going to be, like your job right now? Is this going to be long term that you work these hours and you work nights?
Uh, for now, I am interested in, if another position in days comes up, I will just have to sacrifice the OT that I'm getting. I'm kind of burnt out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of burnt out on the overnights and the long hours.
Yeah, because it would probably be a situation if you get back in this relationship or a new one, it'll probably affect things again. You know what I mean? It's tough. But if you have a mission or a finish line where you're like, I need to make this much money, pay off some of my bills or whatever it is, then that's worth it. But like, it certainly could be a problem in the future.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to ask me about this situation that we haven't touched on?
I guess obviously no one's a mind reader, but like the whole like blocking thing, like usually what is that, since I requested it according to her, would that be one of those things where it's like a permanent thing since it's not based off of her being angry at I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. It's like,
can you tell me the first part of your question? Because in the first part of your question, you went out for a minute. So what did you say in the beginning?
I was saying,
I'm listening. I just didn't catch that part.
Yeah, I was saying that, obviously we're, not mind readers or anything, but like, as far as like her blocking me, because I requested it or made the comment for her to block me. Do you think that that's a permanent thing, since it's like not something that, she did out of just being angry at the time? Or
Well, she felt really good. So you heard her when you said that in some little way, but for her to throw that back at your face is what you're saying right now, is like, well, you told me.
Yeah.
Block you, right? If she wants to play it that way, I wouldn't say that all women or all relationships are like that and they're going to throw it in your face. Do you know what I mean? So like, don't feel, but what we just unpacked earlier is that like, you did that because you thought it would get her attention, because you've probably argued that way before and then made up. What happens when you argue a lot in your relationship is someone ends up going, wait a minute, I thought we were going to keep arguing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm like? Like, I didn't think we were going to really break up. Same whenever people go, oh, we've broken up 3 times. That's not a good thing, because what happens is you think we're just going to get back together. We're just going to get back together. Or someone in the relationship drops that hammer and then they win. Well, I'll break up with you. I'm leaving. I'm getting my stuff. And you're like, no. And then they go, all right, I got your ass. Every time that I want to break up, I can get your attention and get my way. Mm-hmm. So, and then when you break up, someone, whatever happens, you're like, oh shit, that's not how the game's been played. Mm-hmm. That's not that. Yeah. What did I fucking miss? We're supposed to argue more. Mm-hmm. So what happened with you is you probably took it a little step further to win your argument. And I don't know what the argument is about. Sounds like you got multiple arguments about different things, but you got to a point where you were like, all right, well then just block me. I don't want to see you again. You went, and then afterwards you're like, I thought she'd call me.
Yeah.
I thought she'd overcome it. So I think when she came back, you said 2 weeks later with her daughter, that was like her way of hinting that she misses you. But when people get the problem, when someone gets to a breakup point, both sides get hurt, right? If you're in a relationship where you care about each other, which I think it sounds like this one was, right? You can never measure love and all those things, but she wants you to pay a little bit now, right? Like at the end, you said some things, and now she wants to pay for it. Do I think that you like totally fucked up there and it closes the whole door? No, because when you called back this last time, even though most videos would say stay in no contact, you're being too soft, whatever, you already did it, bro. You already did it. So what I'm saying is the way you left it, rather than say ill stuff again, like, don't ever call me again, you didn't leave it like that. That's why I asked that. You said, all right, fine. But now you left it at a point like, I miss you. I was checking in with you. And now the doors, like if she did want to call you, I think it's a little bit more open.
Yeah.
Right. So you always want to go. This is the thing. You've already done it. So for me to sit here and go, oh man, you really messed up. Not really, because what would have been messed up is if you would have sealed the deal with more negative rhetoric, like you're horrible, you're this. You left it on okay, hands down, I'm okay. Like, so I'd say it's okay.
Yeah.
Leave it alone at that. And if she comes back, number one thing is don't go into sorry. Don't go into, I'm going to work on my communication issues. Don't go into all that. You guys just need to go out again, man.
Yeah.
And just have one. If you choose to contact her again, or she chooses to contact you again, the goal is just to have one date. And don't talk about the last 2 years, and just do whatever you guys do that was fun, or how you guys connect, because you'll be starting over again. Like, don't get into, and if she was like, oh, you wanted to block me, you wanted this, you know what? I was wrong in the moment. And you could be, in this particular case, you could say, look, I missed you, and that's why I called you that day. If you don't want to see me, I understand. But if you want to work on things, let's meet up this Friday or Saturday, because you only have the weekends, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Yeah.
And just do something fun. What guys always do when they get that chance, they go into the old breakup. They go into like, all right, we're going to make it work this time. We're going to see a couples counselor. We're going to work on this. Don't do that, because she's going to be like, you're not going to get me that easy. And she sounds like that type. Like, she's not going to just like go, okay, we're back together.
Yeah.
But men's thinking is like, don't want to go through all this stuff. I want to just get back to the best part. I want to just hook up again. You got to get back to the point where, like, when you first went out, don't say sorry anymore, though. Like, you already did that. And don't talk about communication issues. Just go, hey, I'd just like to go out. Whatever you guys used to do that was fun on your weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, let's go out and do that, whether it was a Sunday movie or whatever, and reconnect, and then see how that date goes, and then do the next one. And don't be so in a hurry. But it sounds like if she took your call or she reached back out, she doesn't hate you. She's going to explore what it's like to be single right now, because once you break up, it takes a lot to get there. So people don't usually like to just go, all right, I'm back together. They like to see how it is. And so if you've been a pretty good boyfriend for 2 years, this is where no contact's in your favor. If you were abusive and horrible person, this is where no contact, they're kind of going to go the other direction probably.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you were pretty good, or she wouldn't be with you for 2 years. Right? And you were also like you said, like, you're willing to, work on those things. It sounds like it's definitely a better situation than it was before, right?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. But don't get too wrapped up, bud, on the, I told her that. That's just throwing rocks, like, like I said, the whole point of her even answering your call and entertaining a conversation means she cares a little bit. Because if she really was like, I'm done, she'd probably be like, don't ever call me again. Don't talk, and she'd say she didn't say like a bunch of mean things.
No,
it was more like, you said this to me. Right. And so you left it on that good note. So I'd say that was a positive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So this doesn't guarantee anything. It just puts you in a better position than when you left it that way.
Right.
That's all. And sometimes that's not mentioned on all these videos that are out there. And it gets confusing, man. There's so many videos out now.
Yeah.
Miguel, who I'm going to talk to in a moment, like it gets you fucking twisted, man. You're like, oh, did I do this right? Did I do that right? It's better to talk to someone about what happened in your specific situation, kind of simmer down a little bit, and just relax. Have you been getting a lot of anxiety about this?
Yeah, I have. I've been in therapy, individual therapy myself, but
good for you, bro.
I've been so focused on that I can't focus on the therapy. So it's like, man,
what's the biggest thing that's bothering you? Like anxiety, guilt?
Guilt. Yeah, definitely guilt. Feeling like that I caused it solely, like, even though I know that's not true, but my mind can't
Yeah, you're
But
playing.
perspective of like what it actually she contribute to this.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your guilt?
I'd probably say like a 7 or 8.
Okay. So I'm going to show you this tapping technique that's really easy to use and it helps. So it's tapping meridian points and it'll bring down that emotion. Is it all right if you can use your hands while we do this, or do you set your
Sure.
phone? Yeah.
Yeah.
One moment, Miguel. Good to see you, bud.
Oh, that'll stay.
All right. This will help you, dude, when you get these anxiety moments and stuff and you're really being like your anxiety gets up.
Mm-hmm.
So you tap on this one. I'm going to show you this real quick. You see where my hand is?
Uh-huh.
Yep. It's a karate chop right here.
On the edge?
Yeah, on the inside.
Okay.
Right here on the edge, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next spot's going to be the top of your head. It's all right that you have a hat on.
Okay.
Next spot's right here where your end of your eyebrow is.
Okay.
The next spot's inside eyebrow. And this will just feel good regardless. Underneath your eye at the bone.
Okay.
Underneath your nose at the dimple in your lip. Yeah. Underneath your chin. And I'll go through these with you again. And then right where your collarbone is, right here.
I can't. Well, yeah, I don't think I can see it. It's covered up. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Okay.
And the next spot is just like 6 inches underneath your armpit with your whole hand. Okay. So if you know anything about acupuncture or acupressure, these are the meridian points. This is the flow of you. And so I'm going to walk you through a statement. Even though I feel guilty about this breakup, I'm okay. Does that sound okay to say?
Yeah.
It's very simple. Okay, just follow my lead. Start here. Even though I feel guilty about this breakup, I'm okay.
Even though I feel guilty about this breakup, I'm okay.
I'm doing the best I can.
Doing the best I can.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
Even though I feel guilty about this breakup,
even though I feel guilty about this breakup,
I'm doing the best I can.
Doing the best I can.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
Top of the head, guilty.
Guilty.
Mm-hmm. Side of the eye, I feel guilty.
Feel guilty.
I miss her.
I miss her.
And go ahead underneath your eye. And go ahead and say anything that comes to mind.
Don't have really much to come to mind right now.
Okay, I'll help you. Guilty.
Guilty.
I feel guilty about this breakup.
Feel guilty about this breakup.
Underneath your nose. I feel I shouldn't have told her to block me.
Definitely feel like I shouldn't have told her to block me.
It's okay. Guilty.
Guilty.
I feel guilty.
I feel guilty.
And I miss her.
And I miss her.
Go ahead and run the collarbone. Underneath here. I feel guilty.
Feel guilty.
All right. Right here to the karate chop. Even though I feel guilty.
Even though I feel guilty.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I'm doing the best I can.
Doing the best I can.
Even though I feel guilty about this breakup.
Though I feel guilty about this breakup.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I'm doing the best I can.
Doing the best I can.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I'm getting better and better.
Getting better and better.
Good.
Right on.
How does that feel like on a scale of 1 to 10 on the guilt now?
Feels pretty good. I feel like my anxiety went down a little bit.
Okay. So you can come back to using this whenever you want. You can do it in the car. You can do it at home, and that's the sequence. And all you're doing, bud, is you're accepting how you feel rather than fighting it.
Yeah.
And that calms you down.
Yeah.
Calms down you felt it, right? It was a little lighter.
Yeah, I definitely felt like a release.
Good. And if you're crying or you're going through emotions, use the tapping. It'll help. It'll help release that emotion. And this works really good for when people can't sleep. Even though I can't sleep, I'm okay. Because the reason you can't sleep is you're fighting it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't have trouble sleeping because you work so damn much, but
I've actually been sleeping a lot lately. They say, they say breakups keep you up, not me. It keep me in bed.
Well, you work 16 hours, dude.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm impressed.
I work 8 hours now because in wintertime we slow down, but man, trying to get back into a routine this post the breakup it's been a challenge.
Well, that little tapping technique, as simple as it is, it helps, man. That's why, I mean, it's just easy to use, and it just accepts the guilt and whatever other emotions going through. Like a lot of times at the core of breakups that we don't want to say as men, myself included, is like, even though I'm hurt, I'm hurt. Like that's kind of one of the big ones. Like you're hurt.
Yeah.
It hurts as a man. It's hard to say like I'm hurt. There's a lot of people they front about it. Oh, this, it's like, I'm hurt right now, like, and then releasing that when you do the tapping. And like you said, if you just feel it, like people sometimes go like this, they look for where it went. And that tapping method, it won't cure you. You'll get anxiety again, but you have something to go to calm you down, to bring you down. And we're just accepting it. We're not erasing it.
Right.
You're just saying, I feel guilty, and that's okay. Because what your mind's saying is like, I shouldn't feel this way. I didn't do this right. I didn't do that right. It's like, no, it's okay. Man, you've already been through a couple bad ones. You're getting better at this.
Yeah. Definitely getting better.
All right. I'm going to, did that help to talk?
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was good.
No
good
problem,
time.
man.
Good time to kind of get some stuff out.
No problem, bud. I'm here for you. I know you've been on and off the live stream for a few years now, and it's good to see you're doing okay and that you got into a better relationship.
Yeah.
Because I remember that one. I remember what you divulged to me.
Yeah.
And, it's a marathon, this life.
It sure is. It sure is.
It is great. Like, you got a new, like, this is, just hearing about the new situation's better than the last one, so I'm happy for that. I'm going to check in with Miguel here, and if you want to stay on the live stream, fine, but thanks for coming in, and thanks for sharing your story with everyone. I appreciate it, Brian.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mac.
No problem, bud.
Later.
Oh, no, Mr. Miguel.
What's up, Coach Mac?
The infamous. How you doing, bud? Must be late over there.
Yeah, it is late. Can you hear me?
Yep, everyone can hear you. You're live, man.
Oh, what's up, guys? How are you? I just wanted to say, like, I can really relate to what Brian said, like, with the guilt thing. Like, I've been there, so I can really relate with that.
That is true. Oh, that was cool, Miguel, that you were actually tapping with him.
Yeah, I was
That's really cool.
Wait, you could see me? I was tapping while you guys are doing it.
It's important, man. It's like, it's funny because it's ironic that we've worked together a lot and we've used tapping, and I just did my first Zoom course on the tapping this weekend. It went really well. And it's just nice when you introduce that to people, because during a breakup, when you're so sensitive, it really does help. It's simple, but it helps. So it was nice to see that someone like yourself that's used it before that actually knows.
It was like crazy. Like when you first introduced it to me, I thought it was like some like BS dark magic. I was like, I don't think this is gonna work, but it really did work. And I was doing research on it after, and I was like, oh, this is actually proven.
Yeah, you're like, this guy does. Yeah, the interesting thing about it is, yeah, it's proven by science, but I'm not a PhD, so I can't like give it some, I can't give it some extra steam.
Some extra weight.
But if you're like, I'm a Stanford graduate PhD, this is this tapping technique with the meridians and da-da-da-da. But the interesting thing is everything's fucking shared now. So all these things that were used by psychiatrists and doctors, we all can use it. It's like that's what they'll use in a lot of programs for a lot of psychiatrists and therapists use EFT. I've talked to a few that use it, and there's some therapists that they've said in books, they've go, I don't like using this because it works too good.
So you don't see the clients anymore.
It works too good, so they're like, it's gone already. So that's one of those things. How you been though? How's your week going, bud? You look tired.
Yeah, I am, but I mean, it's been really good, dude. Like, I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm like mostly over it, but I'm not sure like if I'm over it yet. 'Cause remember I told you that last time, and like was like one day just hit me like super bad. But I haven't been like stalking her like before. Remember I told you like stalking her.
You mean online? Online.
Yeah, online. Yeah, really clarify that. Like I stopped like I haven't been like, how I was always checking up like on social media. I haven't done it for like a while now, and I'm starting to feel like I'm like moving on, and it's just like crazy for me to say that because like I remember we started working with each other like 7 months ago, and I was like a wreck, dude. So yeah, things have been great. I'm just like really grateful for like you've taught me a lot.
I appreciate that, Miguel. Thank you. You've done a lot, man. My progress is your progress and vice versa. And the fact that you still have some issues, I've told Miguel this before. He's like, why do I still have these times? And I'm like, because Miguel you don't drink alcohol. It's amazing, dude. 22, doesn't drink alcohol at all. And here's the crazy thing. He still likes to go to clubs.
Yeah, I also don't smoke.
He'll be like, oh, I went to a club this weekend. I'm like, oh, cool, man. You must have to deal with that all the time. Come on, man. Come on. Want a drink? There's a lot of self-control, man. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, come on. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do peer pressure. So like I was telling you before, you're not on drugs or alcohol too much, so you have to deal with your problems. That's tough.
Are you saying that drugs and alcohol help with getting over breakup faster?
No, it just puts things to the side.
People try to hide
right? Like it just a lot of times you're going to put it to the side if you're going to get drunk 5 days a week, huh?
It's just a distraction.
Nah, just a coping mechanism would be the technical phrase. Yeah, like that. And that I'll worry about this tomorrow. But when you have emotion and you're crying a lot, you're actually dealing with the feelings. That's the hardest part, right? Is dealing with the feelings. So how's aren't you going down to Florida?
No, dude, I was gonna tell you actually, like, I just had so much work. I was like, I'll just do that later. Oh, actually, no, I have to tell you. Choosing contact.
Just know that you're live right now. So whatever you want to share, you're live.
Okay.
Like, we usually talk in a coaching session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say. The girl I told
you. Go ahead.
So, like, Susan contacted me, and she was like, "I have a boyfriend."
Say again. Go ahead. This is a private relation. A woman contacted me.
Yeah, the woman contacted me, and she's like, "I have a boyfriend now." After like 3 weeks, like.
Are you surprised?
No, actually no, because she was good looking.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like shit. I wanted to like smash it. So like fuck.
Here's the thing. It's like I was just talking to a client last week, and he's in a situation where like his ex has come back like a year later, and she's kind of like in the picture, but he's like, it's complicated. And I'm like, why is it complicated? And he's like, well, I've changed now, and she's different now. And I'm like, are the problems gone that you had before, and this and that? And he's like, no, it seems like she's actually good because she was dating this other guy. She's not seeing him anymore. And now our interactions have been good. They share this business together. And I'm like, well, look at it like this. And she just recently invited him like, hey, that roommate of mine, which was her boyfriend, I think, or guy she was seeing, isn't here anymore. If you want to come over and watch a movie. And they've been kind of talking. And he's like, I said, no, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't talk. I said, look, you can do whatever you want, but this is what I told him. That window won't be open for 3-4 months. So if you think like in 3 months when you see her with some new guy, because for him, I said, she's pretty good looking, right? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, so right now where you're like, it's complicated. I don't know if I want to talk to her again. It's been a year later. Just go out and hang out, see if you guys want to hook up or whatever. But don't think in 3 months you'll just be able to make a decision, because women that are good catches, men that are good like they're not going to be there waiting for like 3-4 months, right? So like if there is a window or an opening, then go out, And in your particular case, that wasn't about a window or an opening. It was like one of those things. Yeah, it was fun.
Just for fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and that, yeah. And you know what? Easy in, easy out. So like if she's one of those that's been out of some relationships, maybe you took that the wrong way, easy in, easy out. But
I was just shocked, like, dude, like she just broke up and like in 3 weeks later she had a new boyfriend. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
see, someone over in the red pill would be like, this is how all women are, man.
yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say like the red pill community is trash, dude. Like I see like now like how it impacted me like in a really negative way, and I see like a lot of young guys now are like into it, and it's like really like I feel like it takes like responsibility away from like men. Like they just blame the
I
woman
feel
for
like
everything.
there's like anything else out there. There's good people, and there's bad people, and there's good things to be said. I think that it's gotten to a point where it's become this
like gospel.
Not just gospel, but there's so many people with the same flag. I'm a red pill. You're a red pill. You're like, what does that mean, right? But now it's gotten to a point where clients of mine are constantly telling me that they're messing up their relationship from watching red pill content. I've had like 4 or 5 of them do it. Hold on a sec. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also, yeah, I just told her like, hey, like, I just responded to her when she told me I have a boyfriend. Like, oh, that's cool. And I just told her like, I don't want to be. I just said I don't want to be friends with you. And I don't, I do like Coach Corey thing. Like, I don't want to be friends with you. Like, I just fake to be fake. And she said it was okay. Like, I don't know, like, what are your thoughts on being friends with a woman? Because like how some dating coaches are like, you can't be friends with women. I don't know, like, what your thoughts are
I
on that.
absolutely believe that I can be friends with women. I don't know if you can. So I always treat it however you want to do it. So I know me, and I've talked about that many times before, where I've worked with a lot of women. I was a teacher, so they're my friend. Some of them being women are my friends. Now, if it was an ex-girlfriend and I still had feelings for her, I was highly attracted to her, especially if I still had feelings for her, I'll say that twice, then no, I can't. Or if I'm covertly liking someone and being their friend to get with them, no.
No, yeah, no, that's what
you know what I mean? Make your own rules about that. You just got to not be a liar.
No,
like,
yeah, that's right.
You got to be honest. Like but you seem like you could be friends with a woman. I don't know if you guys just hooked up, if you could see her as a friend, but you can be friends with other women. So
no, I'm friends with other women. I can't be friends with her.
Not now. Yeah. But it sounds like the cool thing is you made a good impression last time you guys hung out. Things went well. Yeah, so like if she's single again, if she's single again, then she'll probably contact you again. And if she doesn't, fine. But whenever, to me personally, when someone says they're with someone, it's like, okay, all right. Yeah. I guess we're not going to be talking for a while, because like a lot of men don't like, oh, this is your friend, and they can tell if it was a friend that you used to hook up with. At least you know what I mean? It's like they're different. So
I know.
So I think that's.
This is the third time it's happened. Like every time she breaks up, she just contacts me, and like one thing leads to another. So I was like, whatever.
Always know it's within your power to decide whatever you want to do with it. Don't go to a video to decide that. You got good judgment. That's why you don't drink.
I just was gonna say, like, I find your approach really interesting, because like you're very like, you're not like so like, like we talked about this in our like private coaching. You're not like so this one way. Like what's like one size fits all, I guess is what I'm saying. Like you have more of like you're like not so strict, you know? Like you like do what's best for the person, like you want us to make your own judgment, you know?
Well, it's different for different people, so my approach will always be different for different people, but I always want you to make your own decision. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll be like, if someone pushes me to give my opinion, it's funny because then they'll go, "No, I don't agree with you," and then I go, "Okay, so what do you think?" So now you got the answer you want
Yeah,
from your
that's what I like. Yeah, like you quite like that's what I like about you. Yeah.
like. Let's just talk to a client earlier today that I don't agree with anything you said in the email. Okay, so what do you agree with? Like, tell me what you're thinking. I don't take offense to that. That's what I think. I think the way he's acting is, he wants validation, he wants different things, and he thinks, no, I want structure. I said, okay. So a lot of times the answer is within, right?
Yeah, and like the EFT really helped me accept like the fact that like it's just accepting it. Like it doesn't disappear, you just accept it. Cause like now I realize like what you said was true. Like I do miss her, but it's like I'm okay. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I remember before I was like ignoring it. Like, I don't miss her. I was like I'm not hurt, but I actually was, and like I just like accepting that
It's big,
really
huh?
helped.
Yeah,
It was.
because it's easy to fight it.
Yeah, I remember that week. I was like, oh, I was like, fuck her, and you told me you're just hurt, dude. You just missed her, and I was like in my head like, no, Mac. Like I was like, that's not true, but I was like, fuck you, Mac. I was like that, but deep down I was like, yeah, he's right.
It hurt, man. Getting through, like, being honest with yourself, especially as a man, to be hurt. It's hard.
I don't like
It's
that
hard.
you're like you don't like sugarcoat it. You know, like you tell like I feel like you tell me what I need to hear because I've been with other coaches. We talked about this like 5 other coaches, and by far, like you're like the best one. Like I was like I'm super happy I took the risk. At first, I was like, nah, I don't know. I was like super desperate at the time, but yeah, it was like
Well,
these
go for me,
coaches
guys,
like
in the live stream if you're desperate. No, I know. I appreciate that, man, because especially the fact that you've talked to some other people, and the good thing is sometimes if you have the resources to do it, you're looking for answers, man. You had some. Miguel had some funny stories about the other coaches. I won't say names, but some of their approaches.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, or some
He was
their
literally
advice.
told, like, he was told by someone to write a paragraph or a letter. A
Like
female coach had you do that.
one of the coaches told me you should have kept lying. Like I was like doing a lot of bad things, like lying, and she said,
Wow.
why did you not keep lying? Like, what?
Wow.
I had
Yeah,
another coach that told me
why didn't
you
you
should
keep
like
lying?
you should write a script, like a fake like story, and like read it and learn it, so you
That
can
was
like.
another female, right? The two
Wow.
female coaches he went to, the advice was
Dude, it was so bad. Like
was
I
kind
remember,
of
I was like,
twisted. You think that it was funny because it was like, um, yeah, keep lying. When you're why'd you tell the truth was your case, right? Because you got in trouble for, I don't know if you want me to tell. That's why I'm.
no, no, no. To be honest, like you can tell. Like I really like I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, he was in a situation where he broke up and he cheated, and he had an elaborate set of stories to keep that lie in place. And when he finally broke, he couldn't keep the lie going.
Mhm.
Right? Like you couldn't keep the lie going, and it broke you down, and he told the truth, and she broke up with you, and you kind of thought she would forgive you, but she never did, or never came back,
Yeah,
which is
like
her choice. But what I told him was like, you won't regret that. For you, your morals and values, you couldn't keep lying. Some other people could. Now, I'm not going to get involved with everyone else what they should do, but yeah, it's true. Some women might say, "Oh, I wish I would have never known," but for you, it felt bad. That's
dude,
your morals and values.
in my case,
So
it was
you did
like
the right thing. You paid the price, and that it hurts. But you had a clever thing going, and it's like once you start stacking lies, it's like, when does it stop?
it
You
was so
know?
bad. But
Yeah.
also, I was shocked because like I was in therapy at the time, and I told the therapist like I don't know, like should I tell her? And the therapist like, said like don't tell her. I don't know. I just couldn't like keep it in. Like you're like I was getting destroyed because we were together after, but it was like keeping the lie going was the worst part. Like it was just horrible, dude. And I felt like bad for lying. I wanted her to know like how bad I fucked up because I felt really bad about it. And I thought she was. I honestly was really confident that we could have worked it out, but I mean it's her choice. You know, you live and learn. And I'm really grateful for the experience because if I didn't like have that experience, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, like, I've learned a lot and I've changed a lot as a person.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's all progress, man. And it's like I've told you many times. I mean, cheating's got this high regard of how bad a person you are, but like a lot of humans do it. So you just got to forgive yourself at some point because
it was like
you're not.
really hard to forgive myself. Like that's why I noticed like I was really hard on myself, and you were like, dude, like you're like, why are you so hard on yourself? And it took me a while to like really be like, okay, like I did a really shitty thing, but it doesn't make mean I'm like a bad person for my whole life. And I
Hell
already paid
no.
for it. Yeah, I already paid for it. But, yeah,
You did. You paid a lot.
like the whole church thing, dude. You thought it was funny?
Well, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, your church that you belong to got on them pretty bad. And to me, I was just like, I mean, I'm not telling anyone to be in a religion or anything, but for someone to want you, you know, like stoned in the street or by the congregation or whatever you want to call it, it's like, I'm sure, man, if you looked at people 50 years old, like across the board and asked like all of them to be honest about if they've ever cheated in a relationship, it would be like over 50% probably. So doesn't make it right, but it does make it human. So that's the thing. Like you got to get over it, and you will. You will. You got any questions for me?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like, how do you know like when you're like 100% over it? Like when like you know like you talk about YouTube, like your YouTube videos, like you're like, there's that moment you just know like.
Well, there's a moment where there's been a little while where you're not thinking about it anymore, and usually, you know what I tell you, you'll probably be with someone else, or you start seeing someone else that knocks your socks off, as the great Corey Wayne says, right? Really knocks your socks off. And then it doesn't. It's like Brian Union, who just came on. Like he was on my channel a while back, and he had sent his story, and it was bad. It was a tough story. Like I wouldn't want to review that. It was tough, and it was a lot of drama and a lot of problems. And then I hadn't heard from him for a while, and he pops in on the live streams once in a while. I remember his name. And then, like he said, he had a 4-month. So probably that 4-month didn't erase the breakup, but it just, now you're over it because you met someone new. And sometimes like the next person that you meet new that ends up being like a girlfriend or something a little longer term, that's when you'll probably start to let go. But that doesn't mean the next relationship's going to work out. It just means that you proved to yourself that you can meet someone else or move forward. That's all. And usually that's when it is. That's when it is because you're in a better place. And the most important thing is just to make sure that your next relationship's just as good or better. And so that's where you're at right now. But that'll be when you feel it, is when you won't go, oh, now I know. It'll be like, it's been a month since I've even thought about, or a week or 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. Like, oh, it's been like almost like 3 weeks. So like, damn, that's progress.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, plateaus, right? Not like this. It's like this, a little bit. It's different. So I think that's good, man. Well, we'll have to get a session soon again, and I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you popped in, bro. I appreciate you. Thanks for sharing your situation.
I really appreciate it. Like, I'm just like, today I was like, whoa, like I feel like really good. I was like, dude, like,
yeah.
For me to be like 7 months ago, like I'm here now, I'll never imagine.
It's tough, man. And your situation is you didn't get back together, which everyone thinks that's the thing to do. Sometimes not getting back together is the right thing. And it's hard to accept that. Sometimes it's the better thing.
No, but I agree with, like, I remember you told me, like, for me, it's like, I think I agree with what you said. Like, it's just better for me to be like single now. Like, I'm starting to notice that I enjoy it. I'm enjoying being single, which
Good.
the first like 6 months, or like, yeah, first 6 months were actually, the first 3 months were horrible, and the first 6 months were like hard. Like, but I'm starting to feel like normal again. I'm starting to like feel like good, dude. Like, it's really just awesome, you know.
Excellent. We don't want to hear all the intimate details about your single life, but I know it's going well. It's all
Yeah,
right. Like you said, embrace it, It's embrace it. Have fun. And, you go on some bad dates or things don't work out, it's fine. But you'll get to a point where when you meet someone, and maybe that's not anytime soon, maybe it's in 4 months, but like you'll be like, oh, I just had a client recently, right? And this is what's great about being in this for 5 years now. I'm on Brian Union's second breakup, but it's different. It's different. It's not nearly as, I think Brian would agree, it's not nearly as bad as that other one. He's in a different place. It's a different situation. But I'm sure like when he was in that bad one of 5 years, he never thought like 3 years down the road, I'm going to be thinking about a 2-year one.
Right.
But the 2-year one that he's just talking about, it's not as bad as that 5-year one. It hurts. It hurts. And so people out there might be going, oh, does anyone stay together, 10, 15 years? Sure, they come to me too. Breakups happen, man. You know what I mean? It's like, it happens. It's just, my point is like, are you getting better? Are you having better relationships? Are you choosing better partners? And guess what? You can do everything right. Just like when you drive a car, you can do everything right and get in an accident. It's like you can follow all the rules on YouTube or Corey Wayne's book, which is good. I'm not saying it's bad. And stuff can still go wrong. Stuff can still go wrong. You know what I mean?
Know.
So
I starting to like think like, I don't know why, but I used to follow Coach Corey Wayne like the Bible, like super straight. But I'm like, not everything in there is like.
I think it's good. I think his book's really good for dating and attraction. Like he has some good rules. He has some good things. Like this guy shocked me. He's in his early 20s, right? And the idea that like I'm going on a date. I'm like, all right, the dates he has planned. I'm like, the fuck is this, dude? Like, are you a tour guide? Right? Like darts, canoeing, museum, like one. And he goes, well, Corey Wayne said to go to one place to the other to the next. And I was like, that's a great plan. You're right. Like, but when he first told me, I'm like, huh? It's like fucking creative plan, dude. Right. It's not just like, oh, we're gonna go to the movies, or something like that. You have like,
what did you do? You went to the movies on your claim?
You know what's funny about dating? As I was telling B this before, I've never been single. Like being 41, you've been
locked up.
Never been locked up. I never used that term. Just been in, monogamous relationships. But when I go on dates, yeah, it'd be dinner or something like that. But like, I never would be like darts and canoeing. But I think that's cool.
Yeah, right. I got my cell phone canoeing in the water.
I don't think about it because I just think about like going out to eat and then going somewhere else, or what you made me think about it more. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I've done stuff like that. I just, yeah, like, being with some girlfriends over the year. No. The one time, I think I might have said this before on the channel that I'll never forget, is this guy, he broke up, and he's a client of mine. He's a great guy. He broke up, and his situation is they broke up, but it was a fiance. So a little added, because, that's a little extra weight, right? This is a fiance. He's like early 30s, and they had a really good relationship. And this is one of those cases where he was like, can I be honest with you? He lied to me in the beginning of telling me about it. And then he was like, actually, I was kind of seeing my ex at the same time, felt guilty. So I broke up with her, but I never told her I was seeing someone else. Does that make sense? So he had this guilt. So he created a problem to break up. But being a fiance, she kept the ring that he was still paying payments on. Because he was like, hey, dude, I'm still paying payment on the ring. So I go, don't ask for the ring back if you want to get back together. And you were the one that kind of broke up with her. So they had like 2 months where they weren't talking or something like that. He had to deal with some other stuff. And then he got a date. Like to see each other, to have dinner. And he had like a stagecoach with like horses set up. Like, yeah. And something else. I'm like, whoa, dude, whoa. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I think it's a little too much early to do that. Like, go out on that first. And they ended up not getting back together. They went out a couple times, and they didn't get back together. No, they like, I don't know. Thing about a fiance is I think he broke it off, and then you have to tell everyone that you're getting married. Then to tell everyone you're not getting married, it's kind of a public thing, right? So it puts more weight on the situation. So
I can relate to that. That's why my situation was kind of hard too, because she like told everyone, and like she like call your parents and tell them.
Call your parents and tell them. I don't know. Everyone's parents are different, right? So I know mine wouldn't bat an eye about it or think about it too much. Like, not in a bad way. But
no, but it was just weird, dude. Like it was just weird. Like she was shaming me. It was just weird.
Of course, because she wants you to feel bad. When you hurt someone in a relationship, they want to hurt you in a different way, right? So it's like, it's not going to be the way that you did it. She can't get you back right away. So she's like, call your parents. I want to watch this. It's like, that's kind of interesting though. If someone told me to call my parents post breakup, I would say, I don't even know how to react to that. I'd be speechless. I'd be like, really?
Okay.
Because my mom would be the type, because everyone's mom's different. My mom would be like, what? Okay. What happened? Oh yeah. Okay. It wouldn't be like, oh my God.
Yeah, I remember she told me to put it on speaker, and my parents said like, okay.
You did it and put it on speaker? Oh God. Wow, you really were willing to go over the coals, huh?
Yeah.
And my dad
I want to hear what your mom says to you.
And she got upset at my parents who didn't say anything that much.
What I was gonna say is like, I know deep down, like whatever. My mom's one of those, she's honest and stuff, but my mom's always gonna put me first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? My mom's not gonna disown me. She's not, you know what I mean? It's not like, I remember I had a little cousin one time, and my cousin was like 7 or 8, and he was over at the house, and I was eating, I think it was like chips and salsa or guacamole, and he liked it too. And I was just eating away, and he's like, "You're hogging it. You're eating too much." Da, 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 da. And he goes to my mom. He goes, "Look it." And she's like, "Are you telling on him?" And he's like, "Yeah." And my mom was kind of like, "I'm not going to get upset with him. It's my son." You know, it's like he can have as much as he wants. You know, it's like I wouldn't feel like if I told my mom something, my mom's not going to disown me. But some people's parents would.
Dude,
you know,
her parents didn't like. Dude, I had like when I had to tell her parents that was bad. Dude, I remember. But her dad didn't say anything because her, like.
You called her parents too?
No, dude, I didn't tell you about this actually. I flew to the Dominican to apologize to her parents. She told me, if you don't do this and that, we're done. So remember we got back for a little bit? But I didn't tell her the full details.
In person. Wow, man. That's, you know what?
Dedication.
Like when I look back at it now, I'm like,
I would just say 2 words. Good man. Good man. You're going, good man, man. You paid for it. Someone else would go, oh, that's nuts. Good for you. You did what you wanted to do, man. That's fine.
But I was like just driven by emotion. Like I don't know, that was my first breakup. So I never felt like such raw emotions ever in my life. Like I was always like, before I do breakups, or like I don't know, like they're nothing. Like
oh yeah, someone that hasn't been in one and someone else is acting up, and you're in your 20s. You're like, come on, get it together, dude. Until you're there, and sometimes for me, I never had a bad one until my late 20s. And I had friends. I was like, oh man, are you all right? Come on, man.
Dude, dude, it was bad. Dude, like I lost like 20 pounds in like a month and a half. Dude, I never experienced something like that. Like I was shocked.
Well, now you'll identify it. Now when you see people in public, you're like, you know, it's like either a
No,
death
I
in the
help
family
people.
or a breakup. It
I
hurts.
help people. No, I help people. Like, I'm like, I try to be like a little coach McCarthy. I tell people like, I'm like, dude, like, I try to help them. I tell them about EFT, and sometimes they're like, you're fucking weird, like that.
EFT's good, man. Like, well, I mean, you know, if you just help 1 or 2 people, then it makes you feel good, and then you can share like what you went through. So that's a good way to put it, man.
I remember my therapist started watching a YouTube channel because I was like, dude, I'm doing EFT, it's so good. And he's like, what about like our sessions? Like, how much do they work? I'm like, 15%. And he was like, and then he started searching. He started watching your videos. He told me.
He probably didn't see a lot of EFT on there. That's probably surprised him. Maybe it turned him on to maybe trying it, because I don't do it a lot on the channel.
No, I told him like, yeah, I told him that like, and he's like, I really want to talk to him. He sent you an email, remember? Like, I don't know, he was really interested.
It's good.
Yeah, but like, it's just fun. I'm really grateful for EFT, bro, because I feel like it's just, at least it's worked a lot for me. Because I look online, some people it doesn't work for them. Like, are people like different, like receptiveness?
That's a great question, dude. So that, like, for example, like Brian Union that just tried it right now on live stream. Deep down inside him, like, he probably doesn't want to do this on the live stream. But guess what? Part of the reason why it works even better is rapport. So I just spent 30, 40 minutes listening, engaging, and talking and caring about what he had to say and talking about those things. So when I make a suggestion about EFT, he's like, all right, this guy probably has my best interest, or he's trying to help me. If I'm off the street and I'm like, hey man, just do EFT, he's probably gonna be like, what? If I don't know you. So the rapport helps. Like, do you trust me? Do you believe in what I'm telling you to do? And like you said, you prefer when you do it with someone else, but when you do it alone, it works. But when you do it with someone else that cares and kind of like leads you through it, like myself, it helps more. So I think I've met people that are like, oh, it's stupid, it doesn't work. Well, then, your beliefs are your most important thing to anything. So when I ask you to try it, I'm not asking you to believe in it. I'm saying, let's do it together and see if it helps. But for you even to try that, you have to trust me, or you have to at least believe in me a little bit. And that takes rapport. Just like when we do hypnosis, it takes rapport.
I remember I would like, when I was working in the summer, I would like, I'm having such a bad day. I locked myself like in, like, I was a janitor in 24 hours, so I would lock myself in the bathroom, not bathroom, in the janitor closet for like half an hour and just do EFT to crank it out. And I imagine like, where the fuck you've been looking for me, but just crank out EFT, like it really helps.
It does make a difference. It does make a difference. Well, it's been really good to have you on, bro. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate giving your take, and maybe we'll have you on again in the future because you got a lot to share. Maybe we'll have you talk about.
I have one last question.
Okay.
Does EFT, like, should I be like, I don't use it anymore? Like, do you use it like often, or is it when do you use it like when you're like going through like a lot of stuff? 'Cause I don't really use it anymore.
That's a really good. No, that's a really good question, because I told you before I'm teaching a course on it right now, like a certification course. So actually Friday night, the course I did was 4 hours, and it's way more intensive than what you learned. It's more intricate in different parts of it. So I haven't done it in a while because I don't have a lot of stuff bothering me right now. But whenever I do, it works really good for like when you're really stressed, right? Or like Brian was mentioning, like I got high anxiety. It really helps it come down. But I just started redoing it in the group, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I would say that the fact that you don't need it right now is a good thing, because it just says that you're not as amped up, right? You don't have as much anxiety. So you only want to use it when you're emotional or you have a block or you're really upset. So you probably, if that happens again where you get worried about a test or something like that, then you have it in your back pocket to do it. But it's the same with like meditation. Some people say they do it for like a whole year and then they just do it a little bit after that. It's still going to have the effect, because the things that you've tapped on, you might have cleared them. Like we used it for childhood things and stuff. We might have cleared some things, right? So now it would just be like some small things you can use it for, like when you can't sleep, like I said before, or, you know, you have a small thing. But if you're not needing it because you're feeling better, then it's fine. But you can always come back to it. You can always come back to it. That probably the fact that you don't need it means that you're getting better. You're
It's
feeling
like
better.
a tool in my toolbox.
Yeah. Like when there's going to be something else in your life that might not be a breakup where you get like emotional or upset or stuck. And then you're like, all right, let me go back to this tapping thing. And then if you feel like you do it better with a person, but you're right. Some people are like, oh, it doesn't work or it's this. That's okay. I'm not trying to convince everyone of it. I just know it works for me. And if you want to try it. So I'd say that you not doing it right now where you really felt like you needed it before, it's probably just that you're getting better and that your system's, running cleaner. Wouldn't you agree?
No, definitely. I just wanted to ask that question because
Yeah.
I thought like for some reason when we first started, I was like, oh, maybe I have to do this all the time because I was legit doing it like every day, like twice a day, dude. Like I was like mad. Like
That's one of the sequences is to do it 30 days in a row on the same thing if you're having trouble. But eventually when it clears out, you don't need to do it again. It's like repeating the same thing to you. So, but you'll certainly want to use it again, probably at some point. So, all right, bud, we're at the 2-hour mark. I'm going to check in on the live stream. Good to have you, bro. And we'll be in contact again soon, bud. Take care.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, bro. Take care.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we only have 6 left on deck here. It was good. Anyone that want to call in the future, I'm happy to do this. Help out individuals rather than the masses here. So I'm just going to check in with the live stream real quick here and then probably have my first bite to eat. Brand new Skinner, Truth of Love. We've come a long way in this one. Brian, if you're still on deck, I just want to say thanks for coming on and sharing your story. Miguel, thanks for sharing what you shared. Marcos, Ivan, great work, Mac. Those are always words that I really like. Eduardo Martinez. Percy Blue. Good stuff. I couldn't see the chat while on the stream, but I felt like when we got back together in Feb, we was in the honeymoon phase stage again. Oh, no. What's your guys' thoughts on family and friends having an influence on your ex coming back? Well, you asked what's your guys, so I'll throw my hat in the ring on that one. If someone's really influenced by their family and friends about your relationship, you're probably not going to change that. I haven't dealt with that in a negative way in my own relationships where someone was hating on my relationship or wanted me to not be with someone.
In your family or
in their family. I think he's asking family and friends. I've seen it many times in breakups that people have come to me for. And especially if it's a sister or a parent,
where their connections really,
you're not gonna talk them out of listening to their parents or something like that. You could reason with it sometimes, but usually that's one of those ones. If that's built in and they got a crazy mom that's very controlling, and the mom doesn't like you because you don't make enough money, or the mom doesn't like you because she doesn't like the way you dress, those things can kind of be worked around. But if the person you're dating lives close to the parent or is manipulated by the parent, it's not you. And it's not something you can change. So you shouldn't beat yourself up over it. And really, I look at those situations. I've only had one situation, but the mom liked me.
So where it's the opposite. It's like
no, the mom liked me. I've never had family or friends not like me. I don't know if that's personality or choice, but what happens is that if it's that bad, it's going to get worse, if that makes sense. So if it was 1 year, 2 years, and then you're like the third year when we were thinking about getting married and moving in, the mom really turned it up. Right? So on the flip side, the mom and dad liking you, some people, like, especially guys, will be like, I went and talked to the mom. She loves me. I don't think that's a good move. The mom will do her work on her own if she likes you.
Right.
But you going in there and campaigning with the parent, it's usually a no-no, and the person that you were dating looks at it like you went behind their back.
Like you're encroaching on.
It's a bad move.
Yeah.
So just let it be. If the mom and dad loves you, that's a good thing. Just let it be. That'll work itself out. If it's a cousin, like you mentioned, and the cousin has her ear, don't fight it. Don't get in that snake pit. Just leave it alone. And if you don't agree with the cousin's terms, don't try to fight your way out of it. The co-host is the fabulous B.
What's up?
He doesn't want a lot of divulge about him. He'd like to stay secret.
Oh, whatever.
Her cousins doesn't like me because she showed her out text messages during the bad time. Okay. Well, that's fine. She has her reasons. The cousins, friends have their reasons. In the end, they got to make adult choices about their own thing. So if they're highly influenced by a friend or something like that, that's not something that you can pull in reverse. It's pretty nice when the parents like you, but it doesn't always have. Does he have a YouTube account? No, you don't have one, huh?
Maybe in the future, but not right now.
All right. That was really good. In the future, if any of you guys, Dallasification, I didn't read yours. I feel bad about threatening to press charges about what my ex did a year ago, since now she still know I'm still hurt about what happened. Letting other people know what she did made it a bit easier to let it go through. No, I told her best friend what she did, and that I'm considering it, as well as sending her the text messages of my ex manipulated me with. Sounds like I didn't get the whole story here. I'm a little lost. Dallasification. Sounds like a whole lot of drama there. I'm not sure of the logistics of it.
Pressing charges. I mean, yeah.
Thank you, Miguel Coronado. I appreciate you too, bud. Yeah, whenever you get into those things with pressing charges and that deep, I've had a few clients like that.
Where there's some serious drama.
Yeah, I've had a few times where I'm like, whoa. You know?
Right.
To show another man. No, I told her best friend what she did, and that I'm considering it, as well as sending her the text message and the explanation. All right, here's my take. When you're out of a relationship and it's your ex, going and getting involved with their friends and proving to everyone else how bad a boyfriend or girlfriend they were, it's not a good look. It just keeps you entangled in the net.
Right.
And even though you want to air some stuff out because you feel vindicated by doing it, do your best to maybe write it out in your journal, talk to a close friend, not everyone, because when it's your ex, it's kind of a reflection of you. And then it looks like, oh, this guy's just bitter. You're still involved. It's really going to make it harder to move on. Is my advice to that. All right, folks, this has been really good. Like I said, in the future, if we want to do some more call-ins, that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks, Miguel. That was great.
Miguel's a class act. All right, folks, it's been good. It's been grand. It is curtains.
Later, guys.